Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you in this evening update. We're going to talk about our chances of snow, and it is blasting the Rocky Mountains right now. Parts of Nebraska getting heavy snow. Our chance comes as we head through the weekend into next week. I'll have that update, and we'll talk about your weather next. But first, a message from my sponsors at Robert Gibb & Sons. Whether you need repairs to your heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical systems at the home or the office, call Robert Gibb & Sons today. Let them know Hutch sent you. All right, let's take a look at what's going on right now across the northern plains. Temperatures are diving out to the west where the skies are clearing. We have 20s out there, mid-20s right now in Dickinson, North Dakota. And look at the cold air. Here in the valley, we're in the mid-30s, so above freezing. For now, the mildest weather, the Twin Cities down into South Dakota and Nebraska, where we have 45 degrees as we check in close to places like Sioux City, Iowa. Look at the cold air that has moved into the Rocky Mountain West. These are teens out there in the mountains of Wyoming. That extends down into the mountains of Colorado as well. And west of Denver, I see a 1. That's not very much thermal energy out there. All right, so we have temperatures that are really struggling. Single digits. There's a 7 just west of Salida out there as we check that out a little bit closer, showing that south of Pitkin, that's 7 balmy degrees out there as the Rocky Mountains are getting hit with some snow that is extending into parts of northwest Nebraska. Here is a look at the latest on the radar with regards to that right now as we cross through the 9 o'clock hour and head to the 10 o'clock hour. Hey, if you're unfamiliar with Hutch, just know this. You can always drop a comment on my streams, whether you're watching on the YouTube channel, the Facebook channel. Let me know where you're watching from. If you do have a question, I'm happy to address that. And I welcome all of you to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and the follow button on the Facebook channel. Okay, check out the snow that is exiting the high plains of Colorado, moving into parts of western Kansas. Nebraska today seeing some ridiculous amounts of snow, and in the plains of eastern Colorado, snowfall amounts were reported to be anywhere from 2 to 14 inches in and around that Lyman, Colorado area. This is now moving into Goodland, Kansas. That snow shower activity is looking a little bit heavier on the western side. Look at New Mexico, Albuquerque, down towards Roswell. We have flakes flying fastidiously through the atmosphere, warm enough for rain at the lower elevations there. The rest of the nation, well, check it out as we take a look. We do have wet weather in the southeast, but other than that, we're pretty quiet right now across the area. Hey, do you have a kid that's curious about the weather? A student in the area who would love to help Hutch do the weather? Well, you can get a feel for what it's like to help Hutch do the weather. Hutch's Weather Kid is back tomorrow. So I want to let you know that Reagan Grismer will be my weather kid from Probesfield Elementary. My proud sponsors at Luther Family Ford not only sponsor the program, but they host it in the showroom. That's where we get in front of the green screen and make it all happen. Make sure you tune in. And if you're from Probesfield, cheer Reagan on tomorrow. And you can sign up as well by logging on to hutchesweather.com or heading over to Luther Family Ford for that. Now, let's take a look back at what's going on in our neck of the woods with regards to the forecast. Here is what's going on in the area. It's very quiet on the radar now in the northern plains. Now let's take a look at this winter weather system that's in Colorado and talk about this long-range forecast. Now, to do that, I am going to use the European model. The European model is one that I put a little bit more weight into its accuracy at those farther out time frames. So we're going to see this system in Colorado dive south, but then come right back up as we head into your Thursday. So it looks like a break, but nope, it's going south. It formulates and then it starts rising north again. It's a low, a Rocky Mountain low, a lee side low is what we call that. And it'll be moving back to the north. As it does so, it's taking moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, slamming it up into the elevated terrain. There's going to be more lofty snowfall totals as that system works its way through on Thursday. Look at this. Now we're heading into Friday, and it's still there, snowing in the mountains of central and southern Colorado. Showers and strong thunderstorm potential with the system over the next couple of days in the plains of Texas, Oklahoma, and maybe even as far north as parts of southern and eastern Kansas as this system works through. Look at this. We're heading through Friday and into Saturday, and it's still snowing in Colorado. It's going to be a white November 9th. It's going to be a white November 9th. Then as we go through, this system lifts out of here, brings a chance of some sprinkles to the northern plains. That's not so bad. We can handle that. But now let's take a look ahead as we get into the extended forecast beyond the 9th. And here we go. A system working out of the Pacific Northwest dives into Wyoming, creates a low pressure system that moves into our area. Do you see how the European model here now has it mostly as rain? I do believe that, as it's scooping up air from the central plains, and that will be important as to what time of the day it moves through up here this time of the year. Now, we're looking at first thing in the morning on Wednesday, the 13th, and that's when we could see a few flakes mixing in. The best chance of that appears to be on the Minnesota side of the Red River. Here's a look at the American model as we compare models with these systems, and look at the mountains of Colorado getting whacked like a mole as we head into the latter portion of our work week, Friday into Saturday. There's our chance of rain. This model too, the American model, has that. And then here comes the next system ripping out of the Pacific Northwest. Look at the track of this low pressure system. Do you see how the American model kind of creates two low pressure systems here? One up north, which would bring snow shower activity to places like Winnipeg and central Manitoba, and then one here in the central Rockies that moves through. This would have most of the energy missing us with regards to a chance for snow in our area. We will go ahead and take a look at the Canadian model, just because we'll look at 3 medium range models that go out this far, and I'll let you know my thoughts on the 3 of them here in just a moment. But as we see, Colorado looks like a certainty to get whacked with more snow on this model as well. That's 3 out of 3. This system exits into the central Great Lakes region with its rain chances. Then here comes the next weather making system next week. It lifts out, it splits. So this American model and this Canadian model both agree that the energy from this wave out of the Pacific Northwest could split into 2, one segment working its way through Canada, the other, Colorado low, working more through the central plains. This model says, yeah, we may get some precipitation. The best chance of any rain shower activity, maybe mixing with a few flakes, will be Wednesday and into Thursday. And it doesn't look as flaky as it did yesterday. So that's an update on that, not only locally, but basically nationally as well. And now we'll take a look at some of those snowfall totals. And let me see if we have any questions here. And I appreciate you, Karen Burke, for joining Hutch's Weather here. Jeff is asking, do you look at the LRC model? Well, the LRC is a proprietary forecasting technique, and I don't have access to that on a daily basis. But those that do, you know what? There is a challenge in forecasting. Have you ever seen Hutch miss the 7-day forecast? Oh, I see you typing fastidiously here. Yes, you have? Okay, so forecasting 7 days is difficult. Try seasonal forecasting. So we can be a lot less, how you call it, precise with a forecast. We won't give you the specific exact temperature or the exact date or location of a storm, but we can tell some things about how this happens. So the LRC, I think, does show skill, but as far as what skill it has and do I look at it, I do not subscribe to it and I don't have the access to it, but it's very interesting to me how they come across and about their forecasts. I would love to see it being consistent every time, but wouldn't we all? That's the science of meteorology, as we try to draw conclusions in an inexact science. Okay, Karen, thank you very much for watching. Carrie, good to have you on board. Checking in from Gonvik. All right, let's see if we've got any other questions on here. I don't see any on that platform. Thank you for watching. Hi there, Yoin KD. It's good to have you on board with me on the YouTube channel there. I'd love to have you hit the subscribe button. Okay, now, since there's no other questions, let's take a look at what's going on again on that national radar. We're going to go to the southeastern United States and look at some tropical nonsense out here, because there is indeed a chance of yet another tropical system working its way through the south. So as I take you to the United States view, we'll back up on this here, and there we go. Now we have very wet weather in the southeastern United States right now. We do have some unsettled weather off the Keys right now, starting to be picked up by the radar out there. But what's going on tropically speaking? Let's take a look at Hutch's tropical tracker, and you'll see that we do have a system that is right here on the precipice of the Keys, moving over western parts of Cuba, and it is said to be a category 3 storm, 2 storm. Let me see what storm it is we're looking at here, because I want to know. This is Raphael. Okay, this is the track of Raphael that it has had. Category 3 storm as it approached Cuba, it looks like, and now Category 2 after it has crossed. Let's get the data up here. So this system is showing that we do have gusts to 127 miles per hour with a maximum sustained wind at 104 miles per hour. Where is it going? Here is the official National Hurricane Center cone forecast carrying this one off and out to the left as it works its way across. It seems to me that this may be a little bit of a change over what we were watching a little bit earlier with more of a northerly tilt. So again, kind of meandering through the Gulf Coast over the next few days. Here's a look at what we would call the spaghetti forecasts or models. And when we look at forecast models, do you see how a bunch of them carry this up towards New Orleans and on up into the southeastern United States? But it seems like more and more of these have this system meandering this way. What causes it to stay south as opposed to racing northward? Well, it has a lot to do with the jet stream as it works its way over North America and whether high pressure or low pressure is in place in the lower 48 states. If it's a strong high pressure system that could be working out of Canada, that would limit the northern trajectory of storms like this oftentimes. So that might be playing more of a role here in what we see going on with Raphael as it works its way through. And the forecast track appears to be mainly heading off into the central and then western reaches of the Gulf Coast states, staying north of the area there near Cancun. So that's a look at that. Again, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I sure appreciate having you on board with me here. And it looks like that about covers it. I do want to thank all of you for taking the time to upload your photos to hutchesweather.com. Here's a look at a couple that came in today. Some dandies indeed. And a quick sharing. You can go to hutchesweather.com, scroll to the bottom of the page. You can look at the photos, same thing as I'm seeing here, or you can actually upload your very own. This one from Julia. Look at the magic in Minnesota. Julia, thank you so very, very much. Beautiful trees that have been stripped of their leaves. And it does look like there was some fog settling in for a great start to the Lakes Day. Lake life at its best. Thank you so very much, Julia, for sending your shot. You can do the same at hutchesweather.com. For now, I'm going to check out, but that is a look at our extended forecast. Here's a look at your forecast for tonight across the northern plains. In the Fargo area and most of North Dakota and South Dakota, I will tell you that you can count on coldest weather out to the west as we head into your morning hours. So here's what it looks like out to the west, expecting 20s, mid 20s at that out there, and temperatures that will be a little milder to the east, more clouds and still a chance for some patchy fog into maybe the Devil's Lake Basin as well. Once again, it shouldn't last long because on the backside of this, I'm expecting some increasing wind. When we get increasing wind, it'll be from the southwest here in the Dakotas and parts of eastern Montana, and the wind will pick up, some of us getting gusts to 30 miles per hour. Alas, strong gusts, but from the northwest in northern Minnesota will limit your temperatures to mid-40s for many in places like the Lake of the Woods, Rainy Lake, Babe the Blue Ox in Bemidji, enjoying 47 degrees as we cross through the 4 o'clock time frame in the afternoon. All in all, that is a look at that forecast. Now, how about the next 7 days? Well, let me turn off this clock up here so I can better see what that 7-day planner looks like. And here we go. All right, so the next 7 days. I got too many clocks on here. Let me turn that off. There we go. So the next 7 days, your average high for tomorrow in the Fargo area, 43 degrees. Look at the record lows. We can get mighty cold. How about 3 below? Janet, thank you. Have a good evening, and I appreciate you joining me. And Big Jorn, hello. Good to have you on board. Where are you watching from, Big Jorn? Good to have you. All right, 50s as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will have that little weather wiggle that's causing all of the flakiness in Colorado moving through here, but it's going to be rain. It doesn't look overly heavy, though. It looks like spotty spits of precipitous precipitation. Thank a vet. And on Veterans Day, things are looking pretty good in the northern plains. Quiet and near 50 once again as we enjoy above average conditions. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, that was that system I showed you that could split into two and bring us more rain. So I'm going to go with a chance of rain in the Fargo area and most of our areas we go through Tuesday. But for a few of us, I think we'll have a shot, particularly on the Minnesota side of the river, or should we say Minnesota, side of the river, a chance for a few flakes mixing in. At this point, this storm system does not look as big or as intense as it did a couple days ago. This could change. It's still on the outside of the 7-day forecast. So that's a look at that. One more look at your questions before we sign off for the evening on this hump day evening, and we'll get you back to your night right here. I think that's it for questions. Shirley, good to have you watching from Moorhead, Minnesota. Nathan, always a pleasure to have you on board. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I appreciate your likes on all of my videos, subscriptions by hitting the subscribe button on YouTube, and please hit that follow button right here on Facebook. Big Jorn watching from Fargo, hoping for snow soon, and many folks are. Will we get ice, though, for ice fishing this winter as opposed to last winter, where it was terrible ice? I think we'll have a better chance at a better ice fishing season, but I'm not convinced we're going to have a snowier than average winter. Up here, average 50 inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Have a wonderful night. I hope to see you back sometime very, very soon.